13 Wham Sports, driven by Bob Johnson Chevrolet.
The Section 5 high school football season began tonight with a special game, the now annual Teddy Bowl game to benefit Camp Good Days. Tonight, it was Pittsford taking on Victor. We've got the highlights from Fisher tonight. And, yeah, among the honorary captains, there he is, Craig Winter. Way to go, big fella, out there with Pittsford for the game tonight. First play of the game, though, it's Victor's Hudson Allred here across the middle to a streaking Cordell Jackson. Guess what? They're not going to catch him. He's gone for the 70-yard score and the touchdown. Victor jumps to the lead. Of course, first play, 7-0, and then, oh, the defense for Victor was all over it. Coming up with the sack here to keep Pittsford off the board. Then we go to the second half from his own 10-yard line. Give it to Rashawn Baker, and he's gone. Takes it the distance, 90 yards for the score. Victor opens the season with a win tonight, shutting out Pittsford 16-0. Oh.
All right, the wait is over tonight, the start of Friday Night Lights. Crazy to think the high school football season is here, but no complaints from Section 5, no complaints from us. A busy night, and tonight will start in Webster. A meeting of Class A going on. Canandaigua making the trip to Schroeder. Third quarter of this one, Warriors were down big, and the Braves defense wasn't giving up. Swarming here as Drake Dreisbach tripping up the QB. Then the next Canandaigua possession, a good one. Jack Johnston, the quick connection to John DeSalvo. DeSalvo here off to the races. The senior streaking down the field, gets tackled at the 2-yard line, and Canandaigua was not done for there. Seth Vigneri would get his third touchdown of the night. Later on, the Braves with the statement to start out their season tonight. 34-8, your final score as Canandaigua wins. Well, Fairport getting things started this year at home against the Hilton Cadets. Red Raiders up 17-3 in the third. A little trickeration here by QB Mike Pilatier as he runs to the line on 4th and short, reaches there for the first. No points on that Fairport drive, but the defense looked sharp in the fourth. Adam Pickett does just that as he picks it after that interception, though. Would get called back due to roughing as Andrew Copeland gets in the backfield for the sack to seal the deal. Fairport winning tonight as they get it done 14-3. Okay, now over to Thomas. The Titans welcoming in Churchville-Chili. No score, but to end out the first, senior Ethan Putney airing it out, finds the wide open Dylan Moss, hauls it in as the Saints up. But the home team waking up in this one to close out the half now. Josh Jaworskis, the long completion. Jake Canfield there, exactly what Thomas needed. And they do not waste that opportunity. Now from the doorstep, the Titans able to punch it on in. This one a low-scoring affair in Webster, but Thomas wins tonight at home, 9-6. The home opener for Brockport against Arcadia meant a guitar solo before the game. Who doesn't love that? First drive of that game, Camden Crumity takes a handoff for the Titans, breaks it near side for a long game. That drive, though, would stall out tonight. Midway through the second, though, Brockport up 3-0. Kyle Palka on the Blue Devil keeper, and he limbos it in to make it 10-0. Then late in the first half, the ball goes to Crumity again. He gets to the middle of the field and sends one defender flying over for the juke touchdown. Arcadia comes back, a little rally as they win 28-23. And some other looks at some Section 5 scoring. Wayne Central getting the 1-point win over ER Gananda, and Leroy winning big tonight over Avon. Well, and also we have some more Section 5 scores. Look at that. Batavia with the big win over Hornell, and Geneseo getting it done. All right, this the first weekend of high school action in football, and there's a new face in Section 5. His name is Seven McGee. His game impressive. The 4-star Oregon verbal commit in his first game tonight with East, and what a game it was. Seven McGee and East High beginning their season at home against Penfield. There he is, the first play of the game for the Eagles. Anthony Gilbert heaving it, and there he is, McGee behind the defense to start the scoring off. But McGee not the only pass catcher for East, though. Next drive of this one, Gilbert tossing it far sideline now to a Jay Sonny for a receiving score of his own. Then the final minute of the first half, a shorter pass this time to McGee, And check this out. What a juke move on the play as he gets to the right side of the pylon. Seven McGee, welcome to Section 5. East winning big tonight, 47-13. Well, Gunnar Lattimore and Eastridge making the quick trip across town to Irondequoit. First quarter, Eagles supply it to Eastridge transfer. Jaden Turner in the backfield, sprints it up the near sideline for 6 right there. Eastridge trailing by 2 touchdowns in the second. Lattimore cutting the deficit in half, though, as he runs through the tacklers for the score there. Lancers offense, though, would score no more as Irondequoit gets the W 21-10. Now, to Rush-Henrietta, the Royal Comets breaking open the 2018 season. Yeah, they were hype. But it's Spencerport who strikes first. First quarter, no score, but not anymore. The pitch to Khalees Beeman. Beeman rumbling, bumbling in for the touchdown for the Rangers. Still in the first, though. A little quick response from RH. Royal Comets on the QB keeper, Patrick Sharon, not sharing the ball. All RH today. Comets protect the home field 55-13. And after winning a sectional title last year, Wilson started its season today against leadership. Second quarter, Wildcats quarterback Dion Edwards darts one over the middle. Jerron Johnson and a crowd for the TD. Wilson up 21-0. Edwards is not just arms, though. He also has those legs. He keeps this one for himself, finds enough holes for another tutty. And Wilson wins this one easy tonight, 34-0. And some other scores from around Section 5. Aquinas winning big in their season opener, and Athena making quick work of Brighton.
Finally, it feels like football, right? Sure, there was high school season starting last weekend, but come on. It was 85 degrees outside. Tonight was more like it. And we started the day at Livonia for Friday morning lights as the Bulldogs students got pumped up for their game. So let's show you the highlights tonight as we're back out there for the big matchup going on. Livonia taking on Batavia in this one. First play from scrimmage of the second half. Jalen Marshall going to run for the Bulldogs first down, and he gets much more. Then later in the drive, Marshall with another handoff, breaks it down the sidelines. He's going to bend over and get into the end zone. 14-13 lead, but later in the third quarter, the Blue Devils supply the rock to Alex Rude. He makes it look easy. The lead back for Batavia. More for Marshall after that. Breaks one down the sidelines all the way down for 40 yards. But Livonia didn't have quite enough tonight as they lose it. The final score, 26-14. How about the Brighton Barons are also at home this evening against Red Hot Wilson. Second quarter, Wilson trying to quarterback sneak, but Clayton Teeter doesn't let him get back to the line of scrimmage. Later in the drive, Arcadia transfer Dion Edwards going to find Ricky Gamble for the score. Oh, no, hold on a second. Illegal motion, illegal formation, so they call it back. 2 plays after that, though. Desi Floyd going to run it in to make it 26-0 Wildcats. Wilson also showing some good defense tonight. Amir Buchanan lays the big hit. Wilson takes it easy tonight. The final score, 46-7. Okay, tonight Canandaigua hosting Rush-Henrietta. Both schools looking to go 2-0, but it's the Braves with a 21-point lead in the third. Jack Johnson going to evade the rush and launch one to John DeSalvo. Makes the catch, makes the move, and gets into Royal Comets territory. And then a couple of plays later, Johnson wants it again. This time, he's going to get picked off by Tanner Clark, who would take it all the way out to the 21-yard line, but the drive would stall. Tyler Good with the blindside sack here. Braves get it back, and they hand it off to Matt Verheil, and he gets popped at the goal line, but he's going to take it in. Braves win it tonight. The final score, 41-14. How about Victor coming off that shutout win to begin the season against Pittsford, hosting Gates Chili. First possession for the Blue Devils. Joey Pesamenti here takes the handoff into the end zone to make it 7-0. The Spartans then backed up deep in their own territory. The screen pass goes nowhere. John Crowley comes up with the play. 2 plays later, the Blue Devils drive. Hudson Allred's pass almost intercepted, but it's Crowley who gets the touchdown. Victor rolls to the win. The final, 47-7. McQuaid Jesuit welcoming in Buffalo powerhouse Canisius tonight, and right off the bat, Christian Villa showing why he's got that offer from Michigan. Hits Tristan Vandenberg for the touchdown, 6-0. First drive for the Knights. They're going to get picked off here by Joe Jamison. He returns it all the way for the score. 14-0. McQuaid's down. But the next drive, McQuaid completes the pass. Jamison's going to force the fumble. Knights with 3 turnovers in the first half. But then they start to rally. Early second half, Walsh keeps it himself, gets the touchdown. How about this second half for McQuaid tonight? They win it by a final of 42-37. Other scores from tonight in Section 5. Tough start for Pittsford. Hilton beats them for the first time in 10 years. Fairport over Churchville tonight. Other scores from Section 5. It's Wayne Central over Mid-Lakes, and Schroeder beats Spencerport 34-26. Here. All right, we're going to start this Saturday high school football coverage at the new facility over at Monroe High School. The Red Jackets were trying to make this grand opening one to remember against East. Now, the Eagles were up 6-0 in the second. East Anthony Gilbert is going to let it fly, finds the hands of sophomore Mike Maxwell. That is an 85-yard catch and touchdown run. Monroe trying to get something going, but East Kenneth Wilson forces the fumble, and big man Jake Williams recovers it. And speaking of big man, ensuing drive, the Eagles hand it off to Del John Johnson, and he rumbles down the near sidelines for 6. East with the shutout win today. The final score, 32-0. Then heated rivals squaring off in Greece as Athena had a home game against Irondequoit. Scoreless in the second. Irondequoit on a 4th and 8. Freddie June going to move the chains. The pass to Connor Schaefer here. That set up this. June going to keep this one for himself. Chugs it down the near sidelines. This would start the scoring. Then later in the first half, June passing again, this time to Patrick Thomas, and the hoop star, not to be denied, gets a touchdown of his own. Irondequoit wins it 42-7. Arcadia was trying to move to 2-0 as they were taking on Penfield in town this afternoon. Score tied at 7 in the third. Titans run it. Kameen Crumity here. Huge gain for him, but they would get no points on this drive. It's still 7-7 late. Arcadia running the 2-minute drill. Crumity on the rush again, gets it to the second level for good position. Just 10 seconds left now. Freshman QB Brian Shinitsky is going to take it to the end zone for the touchdown that wins it. Titans stay undefeated. They take it 14-7, and Rick Gauze leading Kearney at home against Cardinal. O'Hara from Section 6. Hawks already up 7-0. O'Hara's Brandon Broadnax runs it in to double the lead. The Kearney defense trying to help out. Sophomore Jalik Johnson strips the ball loose. Freshman Jamie Walker recovers it. After a Kearney turnover on downs, Broadnax gets the rock again. This time he high steps it to the end zone. Kearney falls big, 41-12.
It's kind of hard to believe, but this is week 3 of the high school football season, meaning we're actually creeping up on the halfway point here. So time for the contenders to start separating themselves from the rest of the pack. In Class A, there are a whole lot of contenders this year. One, of course, is Irondequoit and Jaden Turner, 7th-ranked Eagles. 2-0, hosting Spencerport, tied at 7 apiece in the second. Freddie June slinging it near side to Turner. He makes one guy miss, 2 guys miss. Spencerport actually ends up needing 4 dudes to tackle him. Very next play, this time June's going to keep it for himself. Follows some blockers. Outside he goes, back inside. Touchdown. Irondequoit with the lead, and then give Jaden Turner some space. And then watch what he can do later in the second. Breaks it from one sideline all the way to the other. Juking tacklers, using some blocking from his quarterback. Yeah, Eagles win big, 43-21, back to their old explosive selves. Canandaigua trying to improve to 3-0 on the road at Eastridge in this one. Scoreless in the first. Braves are in enemy territory, but they would get no points. Aries Holt, with a name like that, you have to get a big sack. He's got the Hulk hands glowing green with fury. Ensuing drive, Sharon Davis going to huck it over the middle to Jalen Rose Hanna. Eventually, He's going to get tripped up right at the end here, but not until he gets to the end zone for the touchdown. Braves were down, but they'd make a comeback. Jack Johnston airing it out. Mitchell Pfeiffer hauling it in. Canandaigua goes on to win this one 31-21. Homecoming tonight for the Victor Blue Devils. Churchville-Chili, the visitors. And Victor was up, adding on to it. Joey Pezzamenti just kind of muscles his way through. Second touchdown of the night. Victor on top. Blue Devils defense, that is good as well. Third-ranked team in Class A. With Camden Hay turning the pick into 6. Victor 3-0 on the year, beating the Saints tonight 42-13. Schroeder, meanwhile, over at Pittsford. Panthers still winless, still scoreless on the year, and down 6-zip at half, but start out the third. They're punting. But Schroeder can't hold on to this one. Dayton Wilson there to jump on it for Pittsford, and that's exactly what they needed. Some sort of break, good field position. They don't waste it. Matt LaRocca hands it to Wyatt Malinich. We were tied at 6. Later, the Warriors would respond. Ryan Bellavia giving it to Stephen Plummer. Schroeder had the lead, but briefly, Pittsford would score again to get their first win of the season, 16-13. More from Class A. Brockport squeaking one out, 10-7 over Brighton, and a couple of teams going to battle. Athena 14, Thomas 7. Hey, how about Nick Romano? No amount of water can tame that hair. The Hilton running back all smiles against Penfield. 14 apiece in the second. Romano watching as Styles Allen, quarterback keeper for Penfield, making it 21-14 Patriots. But then the aforementioned Romano doing work. They just kept giving it to him. And he kept delivering, almost breaks free from the tackle, but down at the 3. So give it back to him. Man's got to eat. Next play, let the hair be free, sir. Cadets get the win today, 28-21. Behind the tailback. Edison Tech taking on University Prep, who's 2-0 at Marina Auto Stadium downtown. We pick it up first quarter. Run defense, also known as fun defense. Keontae Curry picking up a tackle for a loss and gets a courting celebration down pat. Under a minute in the first game, looking for its first down still. Kriston Jean getting that with the long run. That's a highlight in the first. Nobody scored. Griffin's trying to run later on. Mass pile of people. Ball pops loose, and Venners get it then. But UPrep would break through in the second half. No touchdowns here, but lots at the end of the game. 34-20. They get the win. Wayne, one of the top teams in Class B, taking on rival Palmac. Eagles up 10-0 late first. It's not Braden, but his brother Grayson Zanelovic. And just like his brother, he can huck it too. Perfect tight spiral to Logan Blankenberg. Long touchdown, made it 17-zip. Red Raiders, meanwhile, fighting the sledding impossible, partially because there's no snow, and partially because the Wayne defense is just stout. Back on the offense go the Eagles to start the second. They hand it to Billy Thompson, untouched, unfazed. He's gone. Wayne rolls this one, 48-zip. And Alexander and Geneseo, both top 10 teams in Class D. Alexander, number 2, Geneseo, number 8. Early second quarter, Blue Devils on the passing play, putting a ride into it. Joshua DeVries jumps the route for the pick. First play of the ensuing drive, they hand off to Chris McClintock, putting on a rushing clinic, cutting back twice, breaking a couple of tackles, and eventually he's heading back to the middle of the field for 6 points. The home team, Geneseo, would get one. Nick Rivers is going to boogie to the far side for the touchdown, but Alexander got a lot more. This is not a typo. They win 90-14. 90. How about an 8-man football game between Oakfield Elba and CG Finney? Finney had the lead early, but Oakfield Elba gets the win late, and the ER Gananda Bombers combined for 85 with Penn Yan, but it's ER coming out on top. Down for his alma mater, Bishop Kearney hosting Bishop Timon. First quarter, Kings, those are the good guys, the good Bishops here. Give it to Nate Carter. He sees a clearing, and he makes it all the way back, virtually untouched from deep in BK territory into the end zone for 6 points. Now we go to the second. Carter with it again. Looks like Timon's going to pull him down, but that's what we call balance. Low center of gravity, stays on his feet. Another touchdown. Kearney gets back to winning today, 26-20. Crosstown tussle in Greece. That would be Arcadia, and behind the referees, the Olympia Odyssey combo. Titans up 12-7 in the third. Cayman Crumity on the rush, hits him with the spin move, somehow stays off the grass. That'll work. Wild touchdown. It takes a long time to get there, but it counts all the same. Ensuing kickoff. Trayvon Harper picking the ball up off the deck You're not stopping him. He's going to bring that for a touchdown. That's as close as they'd get, though. Arcadia would take this one 38-26. McQuaid beat Canisius last week, trying to take down another Buffalo Power, St. Joe's today. Knights D coming up big in the first. Micah Brown on the QB keep, fumbles. Knights recover, and they would take advantage. Just a couple plays later, Mark Passero taking the handoff, finding the gap. He has gone all the way to put the Knights up 15-2. The Marauders would storm back to tie it, but it's all good. Mendon is going to get the win in this one. McQuaid, 47-37, the victory. How about some more? The Monroe Red Jackets at their new home this week against HFL. Cougars up 14-12, third quarter. Handoff to Peter Romigs. He breaks it long, far side. They call him down at the 1. I bet he was in, but no biggie. They scored on the next play. Fourth quarter, Wilson fakes the handoff. This time he keeps it again. Runs into a lineman, but still booking it towards Monroe Ave. Cougars get this one today, 28-24.
Quite a night in Section 5 football. The weather was an issue. Some games like Fairport and Pittsford already been pushed to tomorrow. Others like Victor and Irondequoit kept getting delayed. They'll play that one Sunday. But here we go with what went on tonight. And that included highlights tonight of homecoming in McQuaid. Oh, they get everybody involved. Kids pouring out onto the field. Great support here. Oh, there's a purpose to it, too. Getting organized, making a tunnel so the Knights can run through it and get ready for their game with leadership. They had an hour delay. Second play of the game, Hunter Walsh to Ben Beauchamp here. He breaks the tackle. He is gone for the touchdown. McQuaid on top, 7-0. Now the Knights would get the ball back. Looks like they're ready to punch it in, but hold on. Marquise Savalier comes up with the sack. Jahid Davis comes up with the ball. Davis would take it all the way for the touchdown to make it 8-7. But McQuaid back again, and again it's Walsh, and again it's Beauchamp for the touchdown. McQuaid stays unbeaten with a win tonight. The final 33-16. Homecoming for the Patriots of Penfield. Eastridge trying to play spoiler. Good start for the Lancers. Jalen Rose Hannah had our play of the week this past week. This one's pretty good too. Explodes through the hole, takes it the distance untouched for an early 7-0 lead. Then Penfield gets tricky. Check this out. Javion Monroe with the jump pass, and it's going to work to Max Hoadley for the first down. The drive continued in the second quarter. Fourth down for Penfield, and Hoadley trying to get it in, but he's met by a swarm here. Eastridge wins it big tonight. The final 48-33. Some other scores from today. Rush-Henrietta losing out at Hilton. Oakfield, Alabama, Elba beats Marcus Whitman 36-16 in that one. Early this morning, we had Friday Night Lights, going on today. The rivalry game. Leroy, the Owatkin Knights, and their fans all fired up. The same true for the guys down the road at Cal-Mum. Tonight, the 86th meeting between the schools. Rivalry that goes back to 1900. Now, plenty of those fans staying around for the game tonight. Owatkin Knights taking on the Red Raiders. First quarter, Cal-Mum hands it off. Bryce Yokel here going to break it down the far side. He's going to shed some tacklers, get it all the way to the other 15-yard line. Then the very next play, you know what? Give it back to Yokel again. Why not? Let him chug it the rest of the way in for the touchdown. Cut the Leroy deficit to 2. Later on, Owatkin Knights getting defensive. Alex Penapento here stops the quarterback sneak for the sack. Leroy takes it tonight. The final 15-7. We've got Palmyra-Macedon and Penn Yan getting after it this afternoon before the thunderstorms came. Early on, Red Raiders rush it with Josh Schaefer. Nobody's going to stop him. He gets the touchdown. Palmac up 7-6. Later in the first, Red Raiders go in the air. Zach Baker to Liam Doyle for the touchdown. Well done, pass and catch. Mustangs climbing back. It is Will Rogers finding some space between the line and the air, and he goes to Kyle Berna for what proved to be the big gainer. Mustangs come back and win it today. The final 46-25. The York Golden Knights hosting Canisteo Greenwood in this one. Final play of the first. Redskins throw it to the end zone, but Evan Green there to make the play. Did you? You tell him. Incomplete. Second quarter, Canisteo gives it to Ethan Doran. Gets right there, forces the fumble, and he's there to recover it. Later in the second, Canisteo on their own 3-yard line. Quarterback gets hit, but still gets it to Justin Becker, and he's gone. Long run here. Redskins get the win on the road. The final 23-8. Some other scores in Section 5 from tonight. Dundee over Lions. Last score we had on that one was in the third, and Livonia beating Attica tonight 6-0. Now,
hard to believe, but we are halfway through the high school football schedule. Really, tonight, Fairport in their homecoming game, and this one was quite a showing. The Red Raiders and their new T-shirt cannon hosting Pittsford tonight. Late fourth quarter of this one, Fairport down 3. Red Raiders' Mike Peltier finds Aaron Jenks for the first, and then so much more. Then later on in this drive, 3:24 to go in this game. The Red Raiders hand it off, and Dante Kosha finds his space far side to give Fairport a 17-13 advantage in this one. Now, the Panthers, they would have a chance. 1:28 left. Pittsford's Levante Bond sprints it to the second level, then crosses the goal line, and that's all they would need. A 20-17 Panthers win. Wilson was back at Marina Auto Stadium today to take on fellow city team Monroe. Wilson's Dion Edwards putting the rock on a ride into the back end of the end zone. Ricky Gamble there for 6. Later in the first, more scoring for the Wildcats. Double reverse here, and Ricky Gamble, he gets it, then cashes it on in. Wilson rolls 39-0 tonight. Well, undefeated UPrep against Kearney. Brothers Rick and Kayla Gauze coaching against one another tonight. First quarter, Griffins give the rock to Cassius Faison. Breaks the tackle, then at the line. See ya later, bye-bye. UPrep goes on to score. Then later it would be even more from UPrep. Going for it on 4th and 1. Give it to Justin Wyatts, who burst through the pile for the first and additional 6 points to add on to that. UPrep stays undefeated. They're perfect, 58-0. Well, Aquinas with its home opener on Alumni Day as the Irish faced off with St. Joe's from Buffalo. And today about this kid, QB Tyler Zakowski, the sophomore, starting his day out with a bomb to Kobe McNair. Aquinas with a great catch. And Zakowski dominant, the QB, with 484 yards and 7 touchdowns. Yes, 7 for him, the Aquinas sophomore, as they get the win.
It's 2 more weeks before the playoffs begin. So let's get to the highlights tonight. The game of the night, no doubt, unbeaten and defending Section 5 champ Wilson against unbeaten McQuaid. Good start for the Knights here. Hunter Walsh to Connor Zamora here. Great throw, great catch. It's a 13-0 lead. Wilson marches right down the field. Desi Floyd Jr., easy touchdown run. Then final minute of the half, Dion Edwards going to roll out and find Ricky Gamble for the touchdown. And just like that, Wilson's ahead 14-13, but all Knights to start the third. Mark Passero here. One of his 2 scores to open the quarter for McQuaid. Wilson, though, not going away. It's Desi Floyd again. He had a huge night. He's tough to stop. Down the left sideline. You're not going to pull him down. In for the touchdown, a 63-yarder. And Wilson back in front, but then McQuaid comes back a little bit more. Here it is. Walsh to Casey Howlett in the back of the end zone, coming right to you. McQuaid would score a late TD to be the difference. Knights win it tonight, 36-34. Pittsford welcoming in Penfield on homecoming. And Panthers with some new homecoming jerseys. First quarter fake handoff, and it's senior Matt LaRocco walks in for the TD. Pittsford up 7-0. And then the Panthers defense dominant here. Adrian Brown Jr. all over it to make the stop. Back for more. Panthers Clyde Williams makes it look easy tonight. Pittsford rolls to the victory this evening over Penfield. How about Brighton, the student section, all fired up for their game against Spencerport in this one. First drive, Ryan Watson swing out to Eamon Jordan. Let him do the work. Big gainer. He is headed for the end zone. Getting close into the red zone. A few plays later, just give it to Jordan. In for the score. Barons get the win tonight. The final score, Brighton takes it 35-21. Rush-Henrietta at undefeated Irondequoit tonight. Late first quarter. It's Freddie June Jr. giving it to Jaden Turner. Turner over the defense and puts Irondequoit in front. Later, the Comets try to get their offense going, but a gang of Eagles tacklers is there, and Rush-Henrietta is denied. Second quarter, Irondequoit catches fire. Check out Jaden Turner for the Eagles. Off the handoff, down the edge. Oh, he's going to run right by our camera. His second TD. Irondequoit remains perfect. They win it tonight, 34-13. Earlier today at Marina Auto Stadium, UPrep against East. Both of those teams undefeated. Eagles opening drive. It's Anthony Gilbert to Freddie Brock. Brock's going to find open space, and he's got the quick TD right there. UPrep, though, counters back. Second quarter on the ground. Jarvis Alexander going to fight his way through. He'll get to the end zone. Game tied at 6. We'll go to later in the second. UPrep trying to add. The Griffins air it out, but East 7 McGee going to jump the pass and get the pick. East would knock off UPrep tonight. The final score, 20-6. It was a little more than 2 weeks ago that East and Wilson were playing football. The game was stopped in the second quarter. The fight broke out in the stands, not involving the players. The game was suspended at halftime. Wilson was up 12-6. They finally picked it back up tonight, and we've got the highlights for you. Trying to finish it off at Marina Stadium tonight. There's about 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It's still 12-6. Wilson, Wildcats driving. East needs a turnover, and they get it. A fumble. 7 McGee jumps on it, and East got the ball. Now, East looking to take advantage, but it doesn't look like they're going to go anywhere. Brennan Clark with the huge sack here. Oh, the Eagles in a tough spot, but East kept going. Anthony Gilbert going deep to Mike Maxwell. What a throw and catch out of bounds inside the 20. Very next play, Gilbert to Malik McCray. He catches it, gets to the end zone. This touchdown by McCray tied the game. They need somebody to kick it through the uprights to win it. It's the same guy, McCray. The point that proved to be the difference. It took a while, but East gets the win. 13-12. We are closing in on the end of the regular season in Section 5 football. No time to waste. Let's get to the highlights tonight. And the game tonight, undefeated Canandaigua hosting nearby Victor. Huge crowd watching this one at the home of the Braves. In it, third quarter, Braves up 12-0. A.J. Tillison here gets the first hit. Jacob Cole Allen finishes it off for the sack. 9 minutes left. Blue Devils toss it near end zone, but Mitch Pfeiffer jumps the route, jukes a couple of defenders. He would go 60 yards with the interception return. It was still 12-0 Canandaigua with 4 minutes left. Victor goes double reverse. Stephen Brady's going to get the big gain on the pass, but that would be as close as they would get. Canandaigua does it with defense tonight. They celebrate the shutout win, 12-0 over Victor. How about undefeated Irondequoit at Brighton? No Freddie June playing for the Eagles. Next man up, Joshua Colon here. Going to air it out to Quinn Simonson. Hauls it in. Irondequoit on top, 7-0. But Brighton responds. Second quarter, Ryan Watson, quarterback keeper. He's going to fight his way to the end zone. Right there, it's a 7-all game. But later, the Eagles block a punt. And then, to end the first half, it's Cologne again, launches it to Jaden Turner. Turner takes it in. Irondequoit takes the win tonight over Brighton. The final this evening. Okay, 4-1. Honeoye Falls was at home tonight against undefeated Arcadia. First quarter, HFL's Turner Wilson, short pass, Mitch Slyman, follows some blockers. He's going to get all the way inside the 10-yard line. 2 plays later, big pitch to the right. Peter Romick here going to crash across the goal line, and this begins the scoring. Second quarter, Cougars in the red zone. Nick Kalki here. And a few teammates turn him over on downs. It would not be enough. Arcadia It's their first loss, 26-14. It was homecoming night for Gates Chili, the sponsor. The Spartans taking on Pittsford first quarter. Panthers trying the quarterback run, but Isaiah Parker sticks with it for the sack. Later in the second, 4th and long for Pittsford. Matt LaRocca going to hit Clyde Williams for the clutch. First down, nice throw and catch. Later in the drive, Pittsford tossing it again. LaRocca to Tommy Birmingham down the middle for the touchdown. Pittsford in a shutout tonight, 16-0. While East Rochester Gananda was hosting Mid-Lakes tonight to start it out in the first. The Bombers, Jaden Castricini here gets the first down and more. They're not going to get him until he gets all the way down to the 3-yard line. That's going to set up this. Castricini's going to punch it in from the 6-yard line right here. East Rochester goes ahead in the game. And there'd be more from the Bombers. And again, Castricini here, another touchdown. He had 4 on the night. East Rochester rolls to the win, the final 40-7. Some other scores in Section 5 from tonight. Schroeder over Thomas. Hilton big over Greece Athena tonight. Also from this evening, Batavia rolls over Wellsville, and Minders beats Dundee.
Week 6 of the high school football season, and what a rivalry game. Aquinas versus McQuaid today, the Little Irish owning this series as of late, as the Knights haven't won since 2006, but this year, both teams putting together great seasons. McQuaid 5-0. While Aquinas with only 1 loss coming into today's game. A minute left in the third quarter of this one. McQuaid handing it off to Mark Passero. Finds the opening for a 12-8 McQuaid lead. Then in the early fourth quarter, Aquinas will give it to Will Benjamin. He gets to the second level, then wins the foot race for 42 yards and a 3-point lead for Aquinas. Then 4 minutes to go, same score. Damon Montgomery sidesteps the tackler at the line. Runs it in. Aquinas up 22-12. McQuaid storming down the field, though. Just 26 seconds later, Hunter Walsh to Connor Zamira cuts the deficit to 3. And that, though, is where the scoring would end as AQ wins it today, 22-19. Wilson playing its third game in 8 days and trying to avoid its third straight loss, taking on 4-1 UPrep downtown. UPrep strikes first. Justin Wyatt with the rainbow toss there to Jameer Miller. Miller doing the rest. A 6-0 lead after one for the Griffins. Early second. Desi Floyd Jr., though, bottled up until that one right there. He ties it all up at 6. UPrep answering back. Same combo. Wyatt to Miller, who gets in between 2 defenders there. That one leads to a touchdown, 14-6. UPrep with a big win, 34-20. And Penn Yan was more than ready for its homecoming game against undefeated Wayne. Early on, Penn Yan supplies the stone to lacrosse star Connor Finger. He's going to find where the defense isn't for the 50-yard running TD. Later, more of the same from the Mustangs. Penn Yan hands Wayne its first loss, and a shocking one at that, of the season, 49-21.
Believe it or not, it's the final week of the high school football regular season. Still a few teams playing for a playoff spot, sectional seeding, but one game tonight would directly decide who won a league title. That game, an old basketball rivalry renewed on the football field. Unbeaten East, 5-1 McQuaid. Jeff Van Gundy would be very happy. RCAC on the line. First drive for the Knights. Hunter Walsh, 4th down to Ben Beauchamp. Great throw, but did he hold on? Usually he does. Referees confer and say, arms up, touchdown. 7-zip McQuaid, but second quarter after East blocked a punt, they finished the drive. Anthony Gilbert to Yasir Daniels, 7-6. Point after, no good. Next McQuaid possession, a rarity. Walsh picked by Freddie Brock, and Brock knows how to run this back, breaks the tackle, almost gets into the end zone, but he would set up a touchdown of his own a few plays later. It's 12-7 East, but just before the end of the half, Andrew Passero gets the Knights going, giving them the lead, and the offense blew up from there. McQuaid winds up rolling 56-30. How about Freddie June Jr. back from injury for Irondequoit? Eagles hosting Brockport, trying to stay and finish unbeaten right off the bat in the second half. Brockport quarterback Kyle Polka can't find an open pass catcher. He books it near side. 6 points. They are his and his team's. Later in the third, Polka gonna tuck it for the run again. Spin move, then he dips and dives for many broken tackles, 5 of them to be exact. Huge gainer later in the drive, though. This time, Eagles are going to catch him. Dwayne Barant records the sack. Irondequoit had jumped out to a big lead, and the defense helps them stay undefeated, 42-7. Churchville-Chili had quite the test for senior night. Saints had another unbeaten in town. Canandaigua Braves up 14 in the first. Jack Johnston rolling it out to the sideline. Oh, you saw the point. Fires it. Austin Kaywar back of the end zone. Touchdown. Next Canandaigua drive. Johnston tossing it again. Mitch Pfeiffer makes many tacklers miss. Big gain for him as he drags people inside the 40. Turnover on downs here. 3rd and short for the Saints. Canandaigua captain Nate DeRue lying on his back still gets half the sack. Canandaigua grabs that 7-0 record, 42-18. Couple of good teams at Eastridge tonight. Lancers marching into the light, hosting Arcadia, tied at 7 in the 3rd. Sharon Davis lets it fly. Tony Arnold races under it. Eastridge would take the lead. No extra points on the scoreboard for the sweet celebration, but swag level 1,000. Defense trying to lock it down now for the Lancers. 4th down for Arcadia. Matthew Brantley jumps it, falls incomplete. Eastridge gets the victory today, 28-14. Got some more scores to show you. Out of Class A, Victor puts up 52 in a 20-point win, and Webster Schroeder takes down Gates 28-7. Meanwhile, Pittsford hosting Rush-Henrietta. Panthers started the year slow, but they've gotten hot. Opening drive for the Panthers quarterback Matt LaRocca. I got this. Takes it himself, cuts upfield, lowers his shoulder for 6. Then off the Panthers. Kick off the Royal Comets. Trying to run it back here. Oh, the old bouncing kick. The ball is going to get stripped out. Panthers would wind up forcing a turnover on the fumble. You see him coming in from behind to knock it loose. And Wyatt Malinich is going to be the one to be rewarded on the back end of this thing, as he's going to truck his way into the end zone, and truck is one good way to put it. Poof. Panthers roll tonight 41-7. The current 2-seed in Class AA, Hilton. Senior night against Brighton this evening. First quarter, Barron's showing some defense. Najib Awad getting in the backfield for the sack. Still in the first now. 3rd and 1 for the Cadets. Ryan Butts keeping it for himself. He's going to move the chains. All you got to do. It doesn't have to be pretty. Very next play. This time it's a little prettier. Throwing it far side. Basketball star Tajay Hill makes the reception, turns it into 6 points. Hilton turns it into a win, 34-14. And now over to Fairport. The Red Raiders at Penfield. We pick it up with Fairport up by 7. Second quarter, they hand off to Colin Piers, who has no peers on this touchdown run. Fairport would go up by 14. Later on, Penfield trying to do something, but the Red Raiders apply the pressure, and then leaping for it. Nice interception from Ryan Harmon. He would be pushed out of bounds. But with the first half ending, Fairport driving a fake so good that we follow the wrong person. Get to it, though. Quarterback sneak. Mike Pelletier wins the foot race. All Fairport. They're having a great year, 41-13. A couple other scores to get you. Waco beats Leroy 48-7. And Alexander, real good. They shut out Perry. All right. How about some high school football? HFL Freight Train fired up for a possible Class B preview between themselves and UPrep. Up 6-0 was HFL. Second quarter of a defensive-minded game. Looking for a big play picked off by Perryon Brown. Stayed 6-zip into the third. UPrep put together a good drive out of the locker room, though. It's Brown again for the touchdown. 8-6 UPrep, but HFL locked it down from there. Offense got a late touchdown to win it, 14-8. Batavia Blue Devils trying to cap off an undefeated regular season. Visiting Bath Haverling today. Second quarter, Batavia wants to work it through the air. Ethan Biscaro dispenses it to Andrew Francis for 6 points. Third quarter, Rams trying tricks, but it's not Halloween yet. Matt Beach, more of a treat guy, picking up the fumble on the double reverse. Batavia's defense helps him out. They get the win, 41-6. They are 7-0.
Last year's defending Class A champs Wilson on the ropes, needing a win at Edison to secure a playoff spot. And early on, after forcing a punt, it's Ricky Gamble Jr. Pretty good with the ball in his hands. You might say electric. Returns this one all the way back to the opposition's 10-yard line. They'd score 2 plays later to make it 6-0. Edison would come out and make a game of this one, though. Check out Deontay Puryear. Snatches it out of the air for the interception. This was tied at 6 at half. But Wilson would run away with it in the second and earn that playoff berth, 31-6.
finals rematch between Irondequoit and Wilson. So here we go with the highlights tonight. Let's show you what happened in this one. We'll pick it up in the first quarter. Here we go. It's Freddie June Jr., quarterback, keeper for Irondequoit. They are ahead early in this one. Wilson not backing down. So it's an Irondequoit punt, but the Wildcats are able to get through and get the block. And they would take over at the 1. And from there, they give it to Samuel Jackson for the Wildcats. He's going to muscle in, tying the score at 13-all. Then in the second half, it's June Jr. again, stepping up again for his team. The senior quarterback going to take it himself and score. Irondequoit holds on, remains undefeated, beating Wilson 35-27. We've got highlights of Victor and Eastridge in this one. First quarter for Victor. Joey Pezzamenti here, going to take it, and he is gone. 35 yards for the touchdown. Blue Devils up 7-0, and then they're going to give it to Rushawn Baker. First play of the second. They're not going to get him either. 31 yards for the score. He'd have another one. Victor looks good tonight. They roll to the victory, getting the win this evening. Also tonight, Jack Johnson and top-seeded Canandaigua playing host to Schroeder. First-round matchup. It's only 3-0 Braves late in the first. Johnson here, nice fake, gets drilled, but gets it to John DeSalvo on the slant, and he is gone. 63 yards for the touchdown. It's 10-0 Braves. Same score, just 10 seconds left in the half. Johnson's going to heave this one up towards the back of the end zone, and Casey Arad is going to be there, and he will haul it in for the touchdown. They needed it. The final tonight, 17-13. The East Eagles fired up, hosting a sectional game against Arcadia tonight. First play from scrimmage. They're going to give it to Freddie Brock. And you know the only thing that's going to stop Freddie on this, taking it all the way to the end zone? It's a holding call to bring it all back. Arcadia takes advantage. It's Brian Shanitsky with all sorts of daylight. Fumbles at the 1. Elijah Bernard recovers, and he scores. Later in the half, Arcadia's Robert Consalvo in the backfield for the sack. East wins a low-scoring game tonight, the final 14-7. Let's go to the scoreboard for some other ones tonight. Aquinas big over Edison. Hilton over Penfield 35-14. We'll go to Class B. HFL taking on UPrep. It's a rematch of their Week 7 Classic, all about defense for the Cougars. First quarter, fumbles picked up by Shane Enright. He's gone. Big man gets the touchdown. It's 7-0 HFL. Next UPrep possession, they're trying to pass. It's not going to happen here. Josh Koshil here picks it off, sets up another score. It's 14-0 after 1. Second quarter, UPrep still trying to move it, but Austin Hamilton's going to come up with the interception here. HFL wins it 25-8. Let's go over to Wayne Central. Eagles hosting Hornell. Third quarter, Red Raiders down. Hornell trying, but on the handoff, ball's coming out, and Mike Carlotta is there to recover it for Wayne. And then the Eagles take advantage. Grayson Zanelovic here, the senior, going to heave it deep to Logan Blankenberg, who hauls it in. Eagles up big. Then to the fourth, Hornell with the ball, but Logan Lovell's here for the Eagles, gets the pick. Wayne knocks off the defending champs. 27-8. We've got more scores for you from tonight. It's Batavia big over Newark, and Livonia beating Monroe 47-20. The Letchworth Warsaw fans were excited for this one, taking on Minders. Second quarter, Minders cannot hang on to the snap. Mason Johnson eventually comes up with it with the fumble recovery. 2 plays later, Sam Wolf going to beeline to the far pylon. He thinks he's going to get in the end zone, but he's going to go out at the 1. The ball comes out. They keep it here. No worries. Tom Standera here keeps it for the score. Warsaw losing to Letchworth tonight, the final 35-7. The Lions in enemy territory tonight for a 4-5 matchup against Perry. Second quarter, Yellow Jackets throwing it. Ball gets tipped up. Here's Justin Smith right there to come down with the big interception. Then the ensuing drive, Lions going to give the ball to Amir James. He's going to rumble through the tacklers. This is some tough running. He would cut the deficit down to 2. Later in the second, Perry had enough of that Lions running game. Jamie Cowie comes up for the tackle for the loss. The Lions, Yellow Jackets, they take it tonight or Perry takes it tonight by a final score of 34-24. Also on the scoreboard from tonight, you got Canandaigua winning big, and Alexander over Yellow Jacket, the final 25-12 in that one.
Hey, let's wrap up the first round of the Section 5 football playoffs. Fairport on the road looking to avenge a regular season loss against Pittsford in the 4-5 game. 1:29 left in regulation. Pittsford hands it to Levante Bonds. He reaches to tie the score at 21. We're in overtime. Fairport gets the first crack. Dante Kosha on the run. He finds holes far side. Red Raiders, though, miss the extra point. Pittsford's turn, 4th and 2. They got to score. Clyde Williams on the reverse does exactly that. Extra point, try to win it now. Kyle Hennessy powers it through. Moving on to the next round, Panthers survive and advance 28-27. How about McQuaid? The football moms fired up. One of them's upside down. Welcoming in Rush-Henrietta tonight. McQuaid's defense turning it up, down 3-0. Quinn Bergeron snuffs out the rush attempt, forces the fumble. Hey, I found it too. Fumble recovery for him. Ensuing drive, Hunter Walsh laces a pass through 2 defenders. Ben Beauchamp in the painted area, making it 7-3. Second quarter, this time the Knights running the football. Mark Passero does this well, pushing past blockers for 6. Then he hits the headstand. McQuaid advances 33-17. A little bit of soccer here.
It's a big weekend for Section 5 football. Tonight, a pair of games with teams trying to earn a spot in next week's championship games. Let's get it started. Tonight, we've got rivals in the game. Victor and Canandaigua meeting tonight, and Canandaigua comes into this one top-seeded and undefeated, playing in the Class A semis against Victor. Braves beat the Blue Devils 12-0 during the regular season, but it's 6-0 Victor in the first. Rashawn Baker, about as tough of a 23-yard run as you're going to get, keeps the chains moving, dragging players down the field. And it sets up this. Baker takes it far sideline, and he is off to the end zone. This would make it 12-0 Blue Devils. We move to the second quarter. Canandaigua turns it over, and then it's James Knapp to Jacob Cole Allen. Beautiful throw and catch. It is 19-0, and the Braves offense could do nothing against them. The final score tonight, Victor moves to the finals. They win it 27-7. Also tonight, the 2-3 matchup, a pair of top teams, the Eagles of Irondequoit against the Eagles of East. Early on, Freddie June Jr. to Quinn Simonson here. 8-0 Irondequoit. Later in the first, June's going to keep it himself. And check this out. He would go far side, take it to the end zone. It was 16-0 Irondequoit. Second quarter, after East recovered a fumble, Irondequoit's going to get it back. Liam Smith's going to get the interception right there. And then on the ensuing possession, it is June again. All Irondequoit in this one. They roll to the win. They will play Victor in the finals.
Playing through it all in the Section 5 semifinals. Here is your rundown of what we saw today. We're going to start in Class AA. Aquinas took a while to warm up, down 3-0 in the second quarter to Pittsford. Caron Robinson, though, got going. Missed most of the year with a broken thumb. Still wearing the cast. He rushed Aquinas to a 27-3 victory. And AQ is going to play McQuaid. Could you really draw it up better than this? The Jesuit Knights' high-powered attack. Too much for Hilton to handle. The rivals are going to meet with AA title on the line next week. In Class B, meanwhile, the Batavia Blue Devils got defensive today. They dominated Honeoye Falls-Lima. Ethan Biscaro plays quarterback and also plays safety. Picking off the pass, Batavia pitches a shutout, and they stay unbeaten. That should be a good matchup against Wayne in the Class B final next week. Eagles were down 21-0 at one point, but fought back with 24 unanswered. Grayson Zanelovic to Logan Blankenberg. I promise it was a touchdown after they discussed a flag. He celebrated later. Wayne held on 24-21. And in Class C, a big upset in the rain. Attica would get a touchdown run from Mason Compton with just seconds to go, capping off an upset of top seed Canandaigua, and they will play Letchworth, who pulled off a shutout of their own 28.
It'll be 4th and 15, Penn Yan. With all carrier for the Mustang. Rogers pass complete to Quinn. Finger brought down in the backfield.
Number 7, Caron Robinson on a 15-yard touchdown run for Aquinas. Mark Passero on a 5-yard touchdown run for McQuaid.
This is your game. Stand the ball. Get ready to rock and roll. Get off the ball. Get underneath the shoulder. Pop off. Drive it back. All right? Don't let it. Come on. You're better.
Wilson's pass intercepted by number 8, Ethan Viscaro. Viscaro went up and got the interception. Batavia football. Let's go, Dogs! Lambert's pass.
Yep. Number 34, Billy Thompson. Billy Thompson, 31 yards for the game touchdown.
Championship weekend has begun in Section 5 football tonight. One game, and it was a good one. A rematch of a game from earlier in the regular season. Irondequoit and Victor playing tonight for the Class A title. Let's go for the highlights out at Brockport. Yeah, Irondequoit's Eagles ready. Talk about being ready. Check out Jaden Turner on the pass and the touchdown. Oh, yeah, Eagles can fly. Take another look at this one. Jaden Turner goes up and over and gets the score. And Irondequoit has the lead, but check out Victor coming back in this one. James Knapp is the quarterback. He's going to look for Cordell Jackson, and Jackson hauls it in. What a catch. And we've got a tie game. We go to the second half, and it's Victor grabbing the lead. Rashawn Baker going to take it right up the middle and barrel his way into the end zone. It's 14-7, but now it's Freddie June time. The quarterback for Irondequoit on the play fake. He's going to keep it himself. He's going to rumble towards our camera and into the end zone for the touchdown. It's tied up. Final seconds of the game, all tied up. June looking to call his own number. Everybody in the place knows it. They go after him, but they can't stop him. Freddie June breaks the tackles, and with 3 seconds left, scores what proves to be the game-winning touchdown. Irondequoit, the Section 5 champs, they go ahead and celebrate. Jenna Cottrell has the post-game story.
Yeah, Mike, what a nail-biter of a game. Irondequoit late in this one, and who else to give the ball to than senior quarterback Freddie June Jr. 9 seconds left on the clock, and Freddie leading the way for the Eagles.
I called that play. I said, I need the ball. I'm going to score. I was determined. I said I wasn't leaving out this brick, and that's what I just went in for.
Absolutely not. Freddie June. And he came over to us. He said, Coach, there's no way I don't score. And I'll tell you what, they probably put 5 different hands on him to tackle him, and that's Freddie June. Forget the emotions. This is a great high school football game that anybody who was watching would be unbelievable. I was honored to be a part of it. Kids' resiliency all year long, playing hard, and finally the dream comes true.
And a lot of emotion out here tonight for Irondequoit as the Eagles beating Victor and winning their first sectional championship since 2014. Up next for the Eagles, they'll head to the state tournament. But tonight, more celebrating for Irondequoit. With the Eagles in Brockport, Jenna Cottrell, 13 Wham Sports.
Football beat Aquinas was back in 2007. Now, during that time, AQ has 4 state titles and 10 Section 5 championships. To the Class AA championship we go. Those 2 same schools at it again. AQ looking for a 14th straight win, trying to dance their way to it over McQuaid, an 11th Section 5 title during that streak. 1:15 left first half. McQuaid's Hunter Walsh hucks it to Casey Howlett. They were down 21-6. That makes it 21-12. Third quarter, trying to climb back even a little more, but Walsh stripped on the sack. Scramble for the ball. Big James Waters scoops it and rumbles his way in, and he's going to end looking like Saquon Barkley swimming his way for 6 points. Fourth quarter, Irish continue to make it look easy. I don't know, this looks kind of hard to me because I can't do what Caron Robinson does. Wearing a cast on that injured right hand. Huge gain to keep the clock winding. They can't bring him down until 6 guys push him out. Very next play, Ruben Torres, your MVP. Untouched for 6 points here. AQ rolls to another AA title, 49-18. It was a high-powered matchup in Class B. Wayne, Batavia, the 1 and the 3. Wayne airing it out early. Grayson Zanelovic to Logan Blankenberg. Those 2 hooked up many times this year. It was 7-zip Eagles. Batavia, though, gives it to Ray Leach, because why wouldn't you? The superstar running back goes 56 yards for the score. Point after was no good, so Batavia still trailed, but really when you look back, point after didn't matter because Leach went wild. Another touchdown run. He had 6 of them with more than 300 yards on the ground. Good time for it. Batavia cruises to the Class B title, 49-14. How about Class C? Letsaw, or Letchworth and Warsaw, taking on Attica. Second quarter, no score until Tom Standera, QB keeper, rolls his way in. Letsaw up 7-zip. Attica counters with Jake Dressel. Fakes it once and then airs it out to Dawson Nelson. Go up and get it, big fella. Over 2 defenders to tie it at 7 at the half. And it stayed that way until the first play of the fourth when Letsaw gets to work. Adrian Figueroa barrel rolls into the end zone. Point after no good, but who cares? It was 13-7, and that's exactly how it finished. Letsaw wins the Class C title, 13-7. In Class D, leave no doubt about it, Alexander's dominance continues on to the Far West Regional, 36-0.
So last weekend, they won Section 5 football championships. This weekend, they head to Buffalo for matchups with Section 6 and a chance to move on in the state. We've got your highlights. Oh, you think it was cold here? Well, it was cold in Buffalo, too. Getting ready. Irondequoit taking on West Seneca East. First quarter, Eagles driving. Jaden Turner gets to the second level for the run down to the 1-yard line. A couple of plays later, who else but Freddie June Jr. is going to want this one. Quarterback keeper puts the first points on the board. That's the way Irondequoit plays, but the second quarter still 8-0 Trojans on a big drive of their own. Sean Dolak here going to rumble through the crowd to the end zone for the score to tie it up. And then later in the second, Eagles deep in their own territory, 3rd and 22. Watch June Jr. take off down the sidelines for the big gainer, but the drive would stall and the night would stall. Irondequoit loses tonight. Their season comes to an end. The final 15-8. How about the other game from tonight? Yeah, I guess you could see your breath. You could see the snow. You could see everyone. Letchworth Warsaw against Cleveland Hill. Early on, Eagles get the handoff near side. Aaron Wall are going to find an opening. Explodes through the hole, 45 yards to set up the scoring. But Letchworth Warsaw trying to strike back. Adrian Figueroa for what looks like a touchdown. He's close, down to the 1. We'd have given it to him, but they made him take it in for the next score. for the touchdown. But second quarter, Cleveland Hill gets it to Waller again. He was unstoppable tonight. A tough one tonight for Letchworth Warsaw, 54-6. Their great year comes to an end.
Dominated Section 5, a clean 5-for-5 sweep at the Far West Regionals. And this year, those Buffalonians were off to a 2-0 start again, picking up 2 wins on Friday. How about today, though? Let's start in AA. Aquinas trying to restore Section 5 pride, taking on defending AA state champ Lancaster. Little Irish played most of the season without Caron Robinson, broke a finger, came back with a club on his left and his right hand. He's been running wild these last few games, and he ran wild again today. Second play from scrimmage, he's gone. 7-zip AQ on top. Then there was plenty more from Robinson, who was clubbing all day long. Bounces off a couple tacklers. 80 yards later, they're finally going to drag him down. But that is when Aquinas turns it over to the big cat, Ruben Torres. Jerome Bettis-esque. AQ runs all over Lancaster en route to the semis, 39-7. In Class D, Alexander trying to stay toasty. Those look fuzzy and warm. Taking on the trifecta of Clymer, Sherman, and Panama. Both teams unbeaten. Alexander normally does it with offense. Defense doing it here. Therese Smith forces the fumble, recovers it himself, but they were down 8-zip at half. And in the second, Garrett Hinsmail to Cameron Barmore. 16-zip at that point. Alexander's season comes to an end, 29-6. Batavia unbeaten, taking on Cheektowaga in Class B. Cheektowaga's owned this matchup. Not this year. All Leach, all the time. The senior breaks loose already with 2 touchdowns. How about 3? It's the first quarter. Blue Devils rolling early on. Then we have more from Leach. This was his 5th touchdown of the first half. He finished with a state tournament record, 417 rush yards and 8 touchdowns, also a state record. We get to see him again next week. They win 56-28.
The Aquinas football team will play Cicero-North Syracuse Saturday night with a spot in the state championship on the line. Little Irish offense has been hard to stop thanks in large part to Caron Robinson, who is carrying the load with his one good hand. Toby Motika explains.
How would Aquinas senior Caron Robinson describe his running style? With humility.
It's mostly get what I could get, like 5, 6 yards, 2 yards. That's just don't get behind. Just don't get caught behind the line of scrimmage. That's all.
How would his teammates describe it?
Keep those legs moving. Skill on his feet. And there he goes.
It's just crazy. Like his burst and everything he has, his talent is crazy. Open up a small hole and he could take it 80 yards like we've seen.
But in week 2, that talent was forced to take a seat.
I was at linebacker and they ran a little like option play towards my way, and then I just hit the running back, and then I just felt my bone pop.
That pop was a severely broken thumb that required surgery and cost Robinson 6 weeks, forcing the Little Irish to adapt to life without their star running back.
It was like he was a crutch for us to lean on at the beginning of the season, but then once he got kicked up from under us, you could say, when he broke his hand, we were just able to figure out what we had to do from there.
You know, and he was just a great leader, a great captain. He was great when he was out, but there's no replacing him in the lineup.
By the Section 5 semis, they no longer had to. The cast is new, but his running style remains the same. Just ask Pittsford, McQuaid, and last year's state champ Lancaster. Now it's Aquinas, who is just 2 wins from what would be their first state title since 2015, when Robinson and the rest of the senior class were just freshmen. Reporting at Aquinas, Toby Motika, 13 Wham Sports.
There are 2 football teams still with a shot to play for state championships. We start in the Class AA semis between Aquinas and unbeaten Cicero-North Syracuse. Some trickery from the Little Irish. Wide receiver Kobe McNair takes the handoff, then jump passes it to quarterback Tyler Zalowski. Well, that just happened. AQ in control. This more traditional. The quarterback Zalowski to the wide receiver McNair. Aquinas is indeed heading back to the state championship for the first time in 3 years, 28-21. Unbeaten in 3rd-ranked Batavia with a big test against fellow unbeaten and top-ranked Skinny Atlas out of Section 3. They were fired up for this one until Skinny Atlas saw what Ray Leach could do in person. Powers his way in for touchdown number 1. He had a record-setting 417 yards and 8 TDs last week. His follow-up was better, 450-plus yards and 8 more touchdowns. Leach and Batavia are on to the state finals next week, 54-49.
You're watching Fox Rochester. And this is 13 Wham News at 10.
The record-setting season that almost didn't happen for the star of the Batavia football team.
Coach told me to stay positive, keep working. Just came into practice each week and worked hard and believed in my team.
Good evening, I'm Kelsey Smith. Ray Leach and the Blue Devils played in the Class B state championship today. They came up short, but the team's impressive year largely due in part to Ray Leach, who nearly missed the season after he was stabbed in August. Leach's mother telling 32am's Tanner Jubinville tonight she still is thankful her son is alive.
Hey, Kelsey, police say Leach was stabbed at least 8 times by a former teammate weeks before the season started. It quickly became a season which he would set records and then break them. A state championship high school game for the Batavia Blue Devils and football star Ray Leach. A fitting end to his senior season. Leach scoring 5 touchdowns in a loss against Glens Falls at the Carrier Dome.
I just had to believe in my line and keep running the ball hard.
Running despite being stabbed in the leg and 7 other places on August 1st. With his senior season in jeopardy, Leach would only miss some of the preseason.
Coach told me to stay positive, keep working. Just came into practice each week and worked hard and believed in my team.
A team that would help him go on to set and then break his own records and score more than 50 touchdowns.
He's just a tough kid. He loves football. He wanted to be out here, so he did whatever it took to be out here.
A season his mom is also proud of, thanking his teammates and coaches. She tells 13 Wham she's proud of what he's overcome and that he has been able to make his dreams happen. The teen accused of stabbing Leach is facing an attempted assault charge. Coming up in sports, Toby will have highlights from the state championship game.
Now, record-setting running back Ray Leach looking to cap off a remarkable run in his senior year with a state title. Batavia taking on Glens Falls. Now, Leach did it all in the first half, ran for a touchdown, passed for one, and caught one. Although I'll say he did mostly running there. If he's not player of the year in Class B, mutiny. Glens Falls students and fans, though, would lobby for their quarterback, Joe Girard, the leading scorer in New York State basketball history, going to Q's for hoops next year. Darn good QB2 hits David Barkley for an 8-point lead. Clock ticking on the Blue Devils. In the fourth, it's Leach. 5 more touchdowns today, 27 in his last 4 games. A ridiculous number, but it wasn't enough to get it done today. Girard and Glens Falls, too much. He's airing it out again. Batavia loses 55-32, coming up just short in their quest for state glory.
You know, this group came together as a family. To be honest, I haven't really enjoyed much of it from the standpoint of just being in the process of everything. I'm sure we'll look back and say, wow, what a heck of a season. But, you know, I wouldn't trade it for anything being out here with these guys and this family that we created.
Definitely the temperature was a little different than we've been playing in. We had to get used to the heat. It's definitely a big adjustment. We were a little tired. I just had to believe in my line and keep running the ball hard.
He ran the ball hard plenty. It caps off a remarkable career for Leach, who had as good a state tournament run as anyone in the history of high school sports. But at Aquinas, it almost feels like a birthright at this point. Little Irish back in the state title game for the first time since winning it just 3 years ago. That's Caron Robinson, and his club hand doesn't affect his feet. Robinson slips a tackle, jumps another one, and he is gone. 89 yards. Aquinas had a 14-7 lead at the intermission. Still 14-7 in the third. New Rochelle reaching into its bag of tricks. Jason Jones wants none of it. Picking it off in the end zone, keeps it 14-7 after 3, but this New Rochelle team too good to just go away. Josh Forsett ties the game at 14 apiece in the fourth, but a little under 4:30 to go. Tyler Zalowski back of the end zone. Manny Russell comes down with it for the go-ahead and game-winning score. AQ state champs for the 5th time in 11 years. James Jones, your MVP, with 2 picks.
I don't know. I wanted to cry, but it didn't come out. I wanted to cry, but it just didn't come out. It was a great feeling, though. Great feeling.
It's the program. I've said it before. I'll say it again. There's no one person that's bigger than this program. It's, you know, all the head coaches before me, all the players. It's one big group that works hard to get the job done, and it's about the program, and that's how we get successful. You know what I mean? Success breeds success.